Hey everybody, welcome on into your go-to show for local sports here on the Shore, Delmarva Sports Insider. I'm Sports Director Brandon Bosser.
What's up? It's your Shirley Sports anchor Devin J. Martin. We got a lot to talk about tonight, Brandon.
Yeah, let's go over some of the things that we have in store for you tonight. First, we're handing out some awards following the conclusion of the Supreme Summer League. Salisbury football schedule out this week. We'll go over that a little bit, and a Shore legend gone too soon. But first, we're going to begin with the Supreme Summer League Final Four that was set earlier this week, Devin.
Yeah, the Laurel Dogs, Roof City, from Cambridge, Bull on the Beach, from Decatur, and Downtown Sneaks, repping Crisfield, was the final four teams left standing in the semifinals. And you see the teams that were winning in the first round.
Yeah, so Laurel defeats CMP Enterprise 36-33 in the quarterfinals. CMP Enterprise, the two-time defending champions, obviously.
Yep.
So that was a big win for Laurel. Downtown Sneaks, Crisfield, winning over Hilltoppers. Surprising game there, 63-61.
And then Bull on the Beach, they barely survived JBC Construction 50-49. And then Groove City, they beat Aaron's 53-47. So, Brandon, all season long, a lot of these teams playing, there was a lot of blowouts. But in the playoffs, not a single one.
Fantastic to see. All of these kids were competing out there on Monday trying to make it into the semifinals. So let's go ahead and cut to the semifinals now. We're going to talk about the Downtown Sneaks and Bull on the Beach here. Semifinal action. This game was a good one. David Chandler goes all the way, hits the reverse layup. On the other side, it's Martino Jackson launching bombs from beyond the arc. That shot nothing but net there, and then shoots another one. That one's good, rattles that one home, but the Sneaks couldn't keep up with Bull on the Beach's attack as Tribe Wise gets the layup to go. He and Chandler combined for 31 points as Bull on the Beach would go ahead and move on to the finals.
Yep, and then on the other side of the championship game, I was expecting Groove City, but as we said before,
I think we all were expecting Groove City. Undefeated, Cambridge. They have most of their stars back this year.
Yep,
a lot of good players.
That made him to the state championship game last season. But no, not to be. It would be Laurel. So after 8 weeks, we finally had the final two teams left standing, Bull on the Beach and Laurel going head-to-head. But it would be Bull on the Beach that would come out on top. So let's see how they did it. Now, the Dogs, Brandon, they grabbed the Bulls by the horns in the first half. Brock Hill one-on-one with David Chandler. The fall away was good. And then Jeremiah Hopkins hitting this catch-and-shoot three. Dogs were great on both ends in the first half specifically. They held Bull on the Beach to 9 first-half points.
That's impressive stuff, and Laurel has been impressive with their defense all summer long.
Yeah, they looked fantastic on defense. Decatur couldn't get a bucket in the first half, and they were raining threes as well. Khalid Burton drains to pull up three. The Dogs had 7 threes in this game, but eventually Bull on the Beach would wake up.
Yeah, Solomon David was clutch for Decatur's squad in the second half, tying the game up with that three-pointer. Now we've got a game. Brock Hill with 11 points, David Chandler with 21, 16 coming in the second half. Was trading haymakers on these squads, but it would be Bull on the Beach that came away with the Summer League Championship. They won the game by just 4 points. After the game, Decatur's head coach, B.J. Johnson, talking about the importance of the whole team stepping up to help their senior leaders.
Well, I mean, those kids are 4-year varsity players, so, you know, we're gonna lean on them, and that's what it's going to be going into the season. We know everybody's going to come and try to stop them, so I'm hoping other guys will step up. And then it's a team sport, you know what I mean? So if we can get everybody on one accord, then we're going to be very successful.
Wow, so congratulations to Bull on the Beach, your Supreme Summer League champions. Devin, you were there this week. Tell us what you saw.
So we'll start with the championship game. That was a really great game. Tale of two halves, I'll say. First half, Bull on the Beach, they couldn't buy a bucket, even if they had $1 million.
Now, is that because of Laurel's defense, or is that because the shots just weren't falling for Bull on the Beach?
Combination of both. Bull on the Beach did get a lot of open looks, but Laurel did a great job making not David and not Tribe to be the ones to take them. So they were like, okay, in the first half, anybody but those two, you guys can take whatever shots you want to shot.
Defensive basketball.
And they couldn't hit the broadside of the barn. David Chandler and Tribe only combining for maybe like 4 or 5 points in the first half. Things changed in the second half, though. David specifically way more aggressive. Obviously, he had 16 second half points, and that's where things changed. I think they scored about 39 points, if my math is correct, or at least 35 25 points in that second half alone. So you go
Right,
from
so they turned it up to a whole nother level in that second half.
A whole nother level. And Laurel, the one good thing about them all season, and we're going to talk about them a little bit later, is the consistency. Well, in this game, offense really wasn't their strong suit. It was always their defense. And once their defense kind of fell behind in the second half, that's where Bull on the Beach kind of went away. And then another game I want to speak on very quickly. First, on Monday in the quarterfinals between JBC and Bull on the Beach. Bull on the Beach almost didn't make it. Obviously, we saw it was a 50-49 game. But Tyson Hayward for JBC Construction for Y High, he almost was the player of the entire summer.
Yeah, he had he stopped the shot right there on the backboard, and then came down and drained a three-pointer to send it to overtime.
He sure did, at the buzzer too. So they would obviously lose in overtime, but they almost upset Bull on the Beach in the first round. It would have been a monster upset. So that was probably the game of the entire playoffs, maybe the entire summer, and it wasn't even the championship game. I would say that was the quarterfinal game.
So I just want to say that this was a fantastic summer league that we saw, especially in the playoffs. A lot of great competition. I think we're going to see a lot of good competition come this winter.
Yes.
But you can go ahead and stay updated while we're at these games in real time. Follow WMDT Sports on Facebook and X right now. Now we're going to hand out some awards for this year's Summer League action, Devin.
Yes, that's right, Brandon. So we got to start with the team that really surprised us the most in Summer League. We were just talking about them.
Right.
The Laurel Dogs. I mean, congrats to them. Not only did they take the two-time champs in the quarterfinals, they really owned CMP Enterprise, beating them at the end of the regular season and in the first round. But they came out and stunned and defeated the previously unbeaten Groove City in the semifinals. And then they took Bull on the Beach right down to the wire in the finals. So that was a really impressive performance for them all summer. Most improved player goes to DeMar Brunson from Hilltoppers. He had a few games at the beginning of the season where he was only scoring 4 points in a game. And then at the end, he was scoring 35 points against the Downtown Sneaks in the playoffs as well. So congrats to him.
He really grew in this summer league. We saw that.
Yeah, and he's definitely a player that we got to watch out for once the winter rolls around, because Keandre Nixon's going to need some help on the hardwood down in Snow Hill. So congrats to him as well for that.
And finally, MVP. Who else? David Chandler from Bull on the Beach. He had 21 points in the championship game. Dropped the Summer League high 39 points with 9 trays. This isn't surprising at all, as David will be the favorite for Bayside South Player of the Year. So let's talk about some other players who were some of the top players we saw this year outside of David Chandler in this year's Summer League. Devin, go ahead. Who are you going to start with?
So we got a few players, obviously some players down for Aaron's squad, the two Splash Brothers, I like to call them. But we're going to start with Brock Hill. He was a steady hand.
As much as you hate the Warriors, you still use that term?
I mean, I'm impressed with the way they shot the long ball, specifically Michael Ames.
Yeah, Michael Ames was fantastic.
He was definitely shooting a lot of long balls, and
along
obviously
with Jameer Roberts
too. So both of them, I got to give them a special shout out. But I want to start with Brock Hill. He was really consistent for the Dogs. His defense was great all season, all summer.
And we hear from the Laurel coaching staff about how good Brock Hill is going to be.
Yeah, he's really, really good. And he didn't have explosive scoring outputs, but he was consistent. So there were some players that had scored 31 game and 5 or 10 the next. Brock Hill was a double-digit threat every single night, whether it's 15 points, 20 points, 17 points, inside and out. He was doing it. No one could stay in front of him. Next, Elijah Thomas. He was big all summer for the Sneaks as well. Obviously, he's a 3-year varsity starter at this point, playing for Washington, but with down in Somerset County with Crisfield, he was really good as well with his passing and his scoring. Helped the Sneaks upset Hilltoppers in the final in the playoffs and make the Final Four.
And finally, Groove City's Kobe Anals. He is going to be fantastic once again for Cambridge. Helped lead them to an undefeated regular season, and they're going to be a dangerous combination out there in Cambridge. We're also talking about JBC Construction. They had some fantastic scores as well out there with Tayshawn Swan as well. They're going to be a team to watch out for in the Bayside South as well. That's going to do it for the A block. We're calling our first time out, but when we return, we've got a local athlete spotlight when we come back after the whistle. Don't go anywhere. That and more when Delmarva Sports Insider returns.
Cambridge, South Dorchester, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.